right, guys, we are back for UFC Nashville. It's just me, Pegasus. Key, obviously, if you tail Key, you know how much money he's making this year. He's on, I don't know, probably his third vacation in the past month and a half. So it's got to be good, tailing Key. Jav is, out fighting for his freedom and his sovereignty out in Canada because we know how communist that country is. I usually try and get a guest for this. I'm not going to mention any names, but they did bail. It was Jewish better. And he's got a grappling competition coming up, so I totally get it. I've been there before. Got to focus, got to grind. But make this quick, make this easy. Just kind of going to go look through our first look, see what we got going on, look at odds, see the matchups are. I'm going to try and make this a 20-minute video, 25 minutes best if possible. That would be my goal. So we're just going to get right into this, guys. Don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe if you could. First fight, Mike Davis versus Mitch Ramirez. Mitch Ramirez is he's a big underdog here. Thiago Moises, Ariane Tavares won by hooks, and then he got the short end of the stick, getting Prates for his Dana White Contender Series. Mike Davis did not look great in his last fight against Farisiam. Obviously beating Tom Levy by sub, beat Slava Claus. Last fight, he was just pulling guard, doing bullshit like that. Just didn't look like himself. I bet on him because I'm always going to bet the American against the French guy. I will say this, now that Javi's not here. For Ziam, he's getting written off. He's pretty good. A lot of these French fighters are getting pretty good outside of Umar Sy. They're actually pretty good fighters. I'll never admit that in front of Jav, but it is what it is. Like, one of my favorite French fighters is actually on this card. Gotta imagine that was a learning experience for Mike Davis, or he just came in hurt, came in sick, whatever he said, and it was just a fluke fight. Going to improve from there. So I'm going to take Mike Davis to win the fight, but you're so sharp, Peg. You're the sharpest on the podcast. I know I am, but he's minus 900, minus 1,000. Doesn't say much. Don't mind overs either. Overs probably wouldn't be a bad idea, but yeah, moving on. Next fight we have is Kennedy Nchukwu versus Vtor Walker. Vtor Walker, he's coming off of two heel hook wins in the UFC. If you watch some of his amateur tape, he looks like a slob, doesn't look good. Other fights, he looks great. So it really comes down to what Vtor Walker we get walking into this cage. Kennedy Nchukwu, obviously looking good at heavyweight. Lucas Brzeski, nothing impressive. Chris Barnett broke his shit doing some crazy stuff. Not that good either. Lost Oven St. Peru, lost in Dustin Jacoby. Here's my thing here, right? Odds right now, you can get Nchukwu minus 215, Vtor Walker plus 190. I mean, I'm gonna be on Vtor Walker here. I like it because multiple things. I think Vtor Walker is he's a big dude. He's gonna be not bigger than him, but he'll be strong enough to get Kennedy down. Kennedy's got decent takedown defense, but Kennedy's just one of those guys that's always willing to pull a fluke thing. Something happens, get knocked out randomly, get subbed like we saw against Paul Craig. There's always something up. You just can't trust Kennedy Nchukwu, to be honest. Early price was fine, but at this price, you got to go with Vtor Walker. I mean, and also, like I said, you got to see what shape Vtor Walker's in. He's coming in good shape. We're in for a good fight. If he comes in looking like a slob, Kenny's going to look good. But, yeah, that's my take on it. I mean, I don't mind unders. I think unders is pick them 2.5. I mean, Kennedy could probably get a KO. Walker could probably find a sub. So, I don't know. Seems pretty binary. Under seems fine at pick 'em odds. I think that's what it is. But, yeah. Next fight. Chris Curtis versus Max Payne Griffin. So, this is just an old man versus old man fight. One of the things and the key important detail that people have to pay attention to here, right? This is at 170, right? So Chris Curtis is cutting 15 pounds more to get down to 170 to fight Max Payne. Chris Curtis, we watched him get knocked out in the last round against Roman Kopylov. I don't think it was a real knockout. You could have let that at least finish and let him lose by decision. Brennan Allen, split decision. He looked good there, debatably won it. I think he did. Beat Marc-Andre Barrios. The clash of heads thing, I'm involved. It is what it is. Losing the sub by Chiesa happens. Split to Wells. Michael Morales decision. Tim Means. Neil Magny. All old men. This is just an old man fight, right? Curtis is 37. Max Payne Griffin's 39. So you're looking at this. It just comes down to this is just another one of those fights. Like this is one of those cards that it's old fighters, and you just don't know. I can't figure out what's the reason for Chris Curtis to come down in weight. Cutting an extra 15 pounds at 37 years old isn't necessarily a good sign. It's not the worst in the world, but it's just kind of like, is he cutting the weight because he thinks that's going to change the trajectory of his career? Is he at that weight because he's just getting older and he's not a 185 pounder anymore? Now he's kind of closer to that 170 pounder. There's just multiple things that kind of you got to think about with a guy moving down in weight this late in his career. That I will say this, Max Griffin, his getting finished, I believe, to the KO is something relatively small. I want to say I don't one time ever, but this is again like if Chris Curtis can keep his hooks in sharp, keep his counter striking in, and catch Max Griffin at 39 years old, might be able to find a finish. If not, I think the counters will be there. Max Griffin kind of keeps moving forward. You don't got to worry about the takedown. Seems like a pretty binary striking fight. I know I did just say KO, but depending on overs, I don't know what. I didn't even look at odds for this fight. I'm saying Chris Curtis, but at minus 305, not trusting that. Overs minus 225 for the over. I actually don't mind that. Over seems fine for me. Parlay if you want. All right. Next fight, right? All right. Jake Matthews versus Chidi Injaquani. He'll be proud of that, I think. It's not the kid versus Bang Bang, GD Bang Bang. This fight's a pick'em, I believe. Actually, we're getting Jake Matthews now. He's at plus 125. Chidi's minus 145. Don't really get this one. Like I said, this is obviously a first look video. I haven't taped yet. Jake Matthews, younger fighter, better grappler, good boxer. His striking looked better in his last fight versus Prado. He ate some big shots against Rowe, which looked pretty good. Decision against Morales. Morales not finishing you. Also another good look. Darius Flower sub was easy. Stemmelsberger is where he catches the break. Everyone's like, you're an idiot for losing that fight. I think we kind of just got to you just got to leave it for what it is. It happens. Chidi obviously on a 3-fight winning streak between the KO with ECD. We had Jared Gooden. Doesn't really impress me. Reese McKee split. I was on Chidi for both of these. Probably shout out Key for putting me on those. And then losing to Lord Mikal. No shame there. Great fighter. And then Duriev. That was just a sham. I don't know. You got to think, Chidi's 36 now. He's fighting a guy who's younger than him. I give Jake Matthews the durability upside, the grappling upside. I don't want to give him the striking upside, obviously. Chidi's got crazy power, fast strikes. We've seen him slow down in the past, which means if Jake sticks around, I kind of give round 3 to him at a pretty high clip. You got to look more into this. I think if Jake goes for takedowns, he'll get them. We know as of lately, Jake Matthews isn't the grappler he used to be. But I don't want to say what he used to be. He's just not wrestling as much as he usually used to. But he's a great fighter. He's always game. He's 6 years younger. I think this is a good fight for Jake Matthews, especially at plus 125. Seems pretty good to me. All right, next fight, quick one. Melissa Martinez versus Fatima Klein. This is we all like Fatima Klein on this podcast. Klein is minus 1,300. Martinez plus 850. Looking at this fight, it seems like a setup spot for Klein. After that short notice, Jasmine Jasudavicius show up, looked decent there. Obviously, she fought Dudakova and beat the shit out of her, as you should, being Fatima Klein and being Aaron Blanchard's girlfriend. Melissa Martinez. I think she's the brother of David Martinez, I want to say, the doctor. This girl's not a doctor, obviously. She beat Ardeline. Lost to Reed. I guess I got to go back and tape this. I don't even know if maybe I will to go see if we can make Melissa spread of the week or something, but odds are I'm probably going to stay away from it. I'm huge on Fatima Klein. I think she can wrestle well, grapple well, stuff like that. Jasmine was just huge on short notice. Fatima Klein also has pretty fresh Muay Thai. I don't know. She's just all around good fighter, cool girl. She's from Hyde Park, New York, right around the corner from me. So I'm with that. I'm just going to ride that for what it is. Pause. Maybe not. I don't know. I think that's actually straight if you think about it that way. I don't know. This is hard to do solo. Next fight, Lauren Murphy, Eduardo Mora. Me and Key already argued about this one. I don't think Key's picking a side. I don't know what side he's on, but obviously I'm a huge Mora person. I think she's going to beat the shit out of Lauren Murphy. Key's counter argument to that was, Lauren Murphy isn't a small girl. This is up the weight class. She's not going to be pushed around. She's hard to push around, and that's what Mora needs to get her game going. I actually think it's kind of quite the opposite. I think Lauren Murphy is very dependent on being a bully, and when she can't be, she kind of wilts and gives up and loses fights. And I think that's exactly what the younger girl in Eduardo Mora is going to do. She's 31. Lauren Murphy is 41 now, so she's past that. We talked last week about women, 39, 40. That's like the age limit when they start getting older. She's at 41 in 11 months, so she's 42. So that being said, I'm good on that. She's not like Holly Holm 42. She's Lauren Murphy 42. So, yeah, I'm going to take Eduardo Mora here to win. Oh, wow. Minus 600 over the plus 425. I mean, guys, this is just an ugly card. It really is. Like, there's no real way to, like, go about talking about this without sounding like, I guess, kind of like a jackass, unless you're going to, like, dig in and find these dog shots that are going to change lives. But even then, I'm sure, like, we're gonna have to look around and find out. I think more of that, the dog shots. I do have one dog already. I'll go over that in a bit, but I think they come later on in the card. Like, this is just like for a UFC event. Obviously, we're always appreciative when they put events on for us. This is just an ugly, ugly event. We haven't seen something like this in a while. I think that's us moving on to the main card. Yes, it is. So next fight here we have is Nate Lanwir versus Morgan Sharier. Sharier, I believe, as Drav would say. Nate Lanwir, he's 18-6. He's coming off that loss. I think he got KO'd by. I got to cheat. Duho Choice, Korean Superboy. We were on that. I forgot we were on that under. Okay, it's going to be line. It's going to be plus 215 for Nate Train. Morgan Sharier, minus 255. Quick thoughts on this. I talked about French fighters, right? We don't like to bet on them. And this is a perfect example of American guy, dog, doesn't die, pushes the pace, heavy hands, fighting a Frenchman, right? This is basically a white Brian battle. You chose like me over a French guy in a fist fight, right? Looking at it, my concern is like we watched that Morgan Sharier fight. I was on Morgan there pretty big. Looking at that in hindsight, it was kind of like the line came in. I got minus 110, but he didn't look great on the feet, but he also got rocked and hurt by Nathaniel Wood, who's pretty small. He doesn't carry all that much power, but he's very precise, very accurate. So that's probably what rocked him and caught him. So we saw him get hurt there. And if you're getting hurt by him, the hooks that Nate Train's going to throw and the power that Nate Train's going to bring your way could cause issues. But when it comes down to it, in reality, both these guys coming off a loss, Morgan Sharier is definitely the better athlete. He's the better grappler. He's the better striker. He's pretty much better everywhere. Nate Train probably has to land a punch or a pretty good punch or hook to finish Sharier or push a pace and get him tired. But I don't think he's going to do that. We've seen Sharier do 5-round fights before. So, yeah, this is a clear Morgan Sharier spot. It's just really hard to bet him after his last performance. And normally when we get like a buy low performance, like we talk about, or like recency bias when talking about a market, you get him at close odds, dog odds, something like that. We're getting him minus 250. So that's not really much of a discount. So, yeah, that being said, I'm going to go with Morgan Sharier by decision. Next fight, Junior Taffa versus Tuku Tokos. George Tuco, whatever it is. Junior Taffa, 6-3. Tuku Tokos, 10-5. I mean, this is Junior down at 205 now. So he's lost all that fat. He was 241. Now he's down to 205. This is the younger brother of Justin Taffa. It's Junior Taffa. Sick kickboxer, 0 grappling, 0 takedown defense, total fish on the mat. Great kickboxer, great power. Tuku Tokos, if I remember correctly, his last fight was Sterling, the guy who just got the hair transplant, blonde from City Kickboxing, Navajo. I was there live. I think that was down in Miami. Navajo was supposed to finish this guy, right? Instead, this guy goes out there. I want to say he gets 3 takedowns in this fight, right? I think it was something like that. I think it was 3-ish takedowns. I'm going to tell you in 2 seconds. I'm just opening up UFC fight stats. So just going over like taping fights and stuff. When you want to go look and be like, striker versus grappler, or a guy can grapple, what fights do I have to look at to see where I'm going to find it? Saves you some time with tapes, right? Because time is money. You go back and look at UFC stats. You go on their page. You go look at the past UFC fights. You'll see takedowns, knockdowns, stuff like that. So you can kind of nitpick through. Looking here, Tuku Tokos, 3 takedowns against Navajo Sterling. So I was right. So he's one of those guys that can get wrestling going. He's not going to go out there and wrestle 24/7. He's going to look like he's striking on the feet. As you come closer, he gets the takedown there. Seems like it should be a setup fight for the young guy in Taffa. I think that's what they're trying to aiming for here. But honestly, I don't see it that way. Junior Taffa, minus 170. Tokos, plus 150. Coming in about 5 cents on the price. I don't know. I think I kind of like it. It's heavyweights also, so 35. The age difference doesn't really matter as much. I kind of like if Tokos didn't get knocked out by Sterling, I don't see why Junior Taffa is going to do any better. Yeah, give me the dog. I'll take George Tokos by decision. That's going to be my pick for that because he gets good. When he gets people down, he has good, if I remember correctly, he's got good top control. He doesn't have like crazy ground and pound, crazy subs. He's position over submission. He'll stay on top. He'll wear you out. If he gets you down, it's going to be a long night for Taffa. So, yeah, give me the dog at plus 145. All right, next fight here. This is one of the best fights on the card. We got Calvin Kedar versus Steve Garcia. Calvin Kedar is 23-9. Steve Garcia 17-5. Looks ugly here. Obviously, Calvin Kedar is 1-4 in his last 5. Lost to Zalal, where Zalal was running like a girl in the 3rd round. Lost to Sterling, no shame there. Arnold Allen, no shame there. Josh Emmett. All these are good losses. Steve Garcia knocked out Kyle Nelson, right? Yep. Knocked out Sungwoo Choi, who hasn't. Finished Costa before he was Milky or the Dalmatian Costa. So he got him one before. Knocked out Newton Becky. Knocked out Chase Super. So he's on a 5 KO streak, which is why he is the price he is. I say that as this fight's a pick'em. You get Calvin Kedar anywhere from plus 100 to plus 117. Steve Garcia minus 120 to minus 116. I already grabbed that. I'm sorry. I was just reading an ads or reading something that just said that we lost audio. I hope I didn't record this and lose audio. But yeah, there's no audio needed with the screen share. Calvin Kedar, like I said, this is a guy who doesn't get hit. Like when he gets hit, he has a good chin. He's always in the right with footwork. He's always in the right spot. Punching, counter punching, boxing, always in the right spot. Good cardio, good pace, good volume, good takedown defense. And then we got Steve Garcia, guy who's just rattling off KOs, looking good in them, but he's nothing special. We've seen him have cardio issues. We've seen him lose a 3rd round. I believe I've seen him knocked out himself. I can't remember who it was. We're going to do some wiki capping here, right? No one, that's why we're not here. So he's 14-1 to the KO. His KO loss was Mahashate is who knocked him out in the UFC. We see him knocked out. I'm not going to sit here, and we saw him lose a decision to Luis Pena. I'm not going to sit here and tell you Calvin Kedar is going to knock out Steve Garcia. I'd be lying if I thought that. But I think Calvin Kedar, longer the fight goes, better it looks for him. Calvin Kedar is not getting knocked out. Steve Garcia going to be the guy to do it? No. Steve's a wrestler, but if Steve tries to wrestle and string wrestling together for 15 minutes, he's going to gas himself out. And with the takedown of Kedar, I think he stopped 8 takedown attempts in the fight against Zalal last fight. And I rate Zalal so much higher than Garcia. Sterling higher than Garcia. Arnold higher than Garcia. Josh Emmett higher than Garcia. Huge step down. Calvin Kedar's 37 on a 4-fight losing streak. That's why we're getting the buy low price here. I think if there's someone who does look minus 300, minus 400, it's going to be Calvin Kedar. Just because, like I said, volume, striking, being there. If this is a 5-round fight, this would be a cakewalk. If Calvin was on this losing skid, he'd be minus 400 here. This is just a huge step down and a huge step up for Steve Garcia. It's not like Steve Garcia is this young guy. He's 28 coming up. He's 33 years old. We've seen this guy. He's kind of past his day, I think, honestly. I'm saying that as in the sense of like, he's just like not where you're supposed to be when you're 33. He hasn't even gotten ranked or higher up in the ranks. So it's just like, I don't know. Calvin Kattar, this seems like a pretty straightforward Calvin Kattar decision spot. I'm going to take, like I said, I took plus 120. Just play the money line, safe for that way. Next fight here we have is Austin Lane versus Vtor Patrino. So this is Austin Lane, I believe, introducing Vtor Patrino into the heavyweight division. There's no better heavyweight for Patrino to get than Austin Lane. Austin Lane, not very good fighter. Got that one lucky win against fraud checked the karate guy, Robelis de Spain. Now he's fighting karate in karate combat or whatever it is. Patrino, on the other hand, right? Guy's chin's been exposed. Is Austin Lane going to knock him out? No, he's not. But what happened here is this is just what we call, like in the UFC, we talk about this all the time, learning on the job, right? That's what Vtor Patrino's doing. He's 11-2. He's still very young. He's 27. He's coming off 2 losses. Dustin Jacoby, we were also on Dustin Jacoby last fight, and we were on him by knockout as well. Look how easy that was. Caught him in the 3rd round, I want to say. But Vtor Patrino was dominating Jacoby prior to that. He just got caught. It happens. It's a fist fight, and these guys are heavy. Anthony Smith, submission. Again, I believe he was looking pretty good in that fight too. And then he kind of got Anthony Smith got lucky with that sub. I want to say I may have been on Anthony Smith there just because I love betting Anthony Smith in these dog spots, but I also could be full shit right now, so don't quote me on that. I'll let you know when we do the real recording for this. Oh, so it was very early. It was round 1. He just got caught in like a fluke sub guillotine choke. Other than that, though, you look at Vtor Patrino. I mean, Tyson Pedro, he beat Tyson Pedro by decision. He knocked out Pegasus Picks. I think that was a crazy last name. I fucked up last time. Vtor Patrino he subbed Marcin Prachnow. And the Pleasure Boy, I think his name is, right? The Pleasure Boy? The Pleasure Man, my boy. He's actually rattling off wins in in regionals. He beat him too. Rodolfo Bellato beat him as well with knockout in Dana White Contender Series. So yeah, this is just a setup fight. Patrino going up weight. Do I like him going up in weight? Not necessarily, but if he's putting on the weight the right way, maybe it'll be better for his chin going up in weight. He won't have to cut weight as much. Like I said, he's looking pretty good now. Austin Lane lost to Mario Pinto, ass. Dispellis, fraud checked him. Denise, knockout. Taffa, knockout. Yeah, but Vtor Patrino by knockout is going to be the play for me. Subs live too, honestly. Patrino's minus 700. We'll see what ITD is. Looks like the under 1.5 is minus 135. I don't hate that, honestly. Not a bad bet. That's one way to look at it. All right, we're at 23 minutes. I think I only have one more. Oh, fuck, I got 2 more fights. Let's do this. All right. Right here, we got Gabriel Bonf versus Stephen Wonderboy. No introduction needed. This is Stephen Wonderboy being the oldest on the card. He's 42 years old. He's fighting Gabriel Bonf, who's 27. Odds in these 2 gentlemen, we've seen Stephen Wonderboy anywhere from he's plus 280 to plus 300. Bonf minus 355. So this is the Bonf brother, right? He's a good grappler, good boxer. He just subbed Chaos Williams. The Hood does not love that. Ange Lusa. Okay, Nicholas Dalby, he lost because he quit. He got burnt out. Trevin Giles by sub. Lazez, not in the UFC. So these are the type of guys that he's fighting. Then we go look at Wonderboy. Lost to the knockout by Buckley, where he was actually looking decent in that fight. Sub by Shavkat. It's Shavkat. Holland, I think Holland broke his hand or something. Then he, quote-unquote, finished him. Bilal Muhammad lost. Gilbert Burns. So you're talking top of the division versus bottom of the division. It's kind of an obvious setup fight here. I do think that Wonderboy isn't looking 42. Although he is 42, he doesn't look 42. He still moves pretty quick. He's still pretty long when he strikes. He's still got what he needs. His takedown defense is okay. It's not the best. His sub defense is pretty good. If I remember correctly, I don't think, other than Shavkat, I think that's the only person that subbed him. Yep. 1 sub loss, 2 KO losses. So all these losses are coming lately. It's by decision. I'm going to be looking into a Wonderboy spread of the week position here, especially because he's plus 300. I don't think Bonf binds the chin. Maybe he does, so be it. But I don't know. I think Wonderboy's a live dog here. We're going to check out the spread. As the fight goes on, I think it's only better for Thompson as well because, like I said, we saw Gabriel Bonf gas and quit against Nicholas Dalby. But if I remember correctly, he was like knocking Dalby out on the feet, going for subs. Like he just adrenaline dumped and tried to go for the finish and killed himself in front of his own crowd. So you can't really knock the young man for that. He's looking good lately. But, yeah, I'm going to think Wonderboy spread. But, obviously, I got to tape this one again. Or tape this for the first time. Main event. Another old man. Another old man. That's what they call me. Like, they call me Unc. This is Unc right here. Derrick Lewis. 28-12 versus Talson Texera. Talson Texera 8-0. I mean, this guy's coming off a win of Justin Taffa, Arthur Lopez. So he's going these two fights, and he's going right up to Derrick Lewis in a main event. What does that tell you? Heavyweight is shallow for the UFC, and it tells you that they're trying to get a star being built in Talson Texera. Derrick Lewis, he just knocked out. He hit him with the Jorge Masvidal flying knee for Nascimento. Almeida rode him out for 25 minutes. So that was easy. Marcos Rogelio de Lima, another knockout. Oh, that was the flying knee. It was de Lima? I got to go back and look at these. I can't remember. Either way, most knockouts in the UFC. So by Spivak. Most knockouts in the UFC versus some guy who's 8-0, 25 years old versus 40 years old. Another 40-year-old guy. Oh, fuck. I'm sharing the wrong tab. All right, I'm back. I fucked that up. Sorry, guys. Derrick Lewis, Talson Texera, 28-12, 8-0. Most knockouts in the UFC, 40. Young man, like I said, shallow, 25. I'm not going to go back and add this. I don't know why I'm repeating myself. Odds, plus 220 for Derrick Lewis, minus 260 for Texera. I wasn't that impressed in Texera's last fight. I think he's hittable. I think he keeps his head up high. Obviously, maybe too high for Derrick Lewis. Derrick Lewis is the shorter guy. He's 6'3". These guys 6'7". But then again, we saw the Volkov comeback, right? He said Trump was in the crowd, told him to knock this Russian's ass out. And what did he do? He wanted to pick Derrick Lewis by knockout. Just can't do it. We've seen Derrick Lewis kind of look a little fluky. I think it was the elbow that tied to Avasa. I kind of think like Derrick Lewis collecting a paycheck. This is just them giving little layups. They opened the under at minus 120 for under 1.5. Now it's minus 200. So that caught steam. Anyone who got that opener line, good for you guys. Under seemed fair here, 2 rounds, because obviously Derrick Lewis is going to either try and knock this guy out or this guy is going. This guy's live for a sub. I think he's a 2-time national champion in BJJ. He obviously has power in his fists too. If we go back and look at his record, you know, we've seen him only one sub, but he's a 2-time national champion, I think, in jiu-jitsu. And then he's got 7 knockouts. So guy can knock out, guy's decent on the ground. Pretty straightforward. All right, that's the show. Under 30 minutes. Sorry I couldn't get a guest on for you guys. I will get a guest for you guys next week. We'll have the whole show. Actually, Key's still on vacation next week. We're going to have a special guest coming in next week. So it'll be me, Drav, and a guest. We'll go over this again. I'll have more tape studies done like that. Leave comments below if there are any bets you like early, any things that you think I should look into. Give some advice, where to tape, what to look at. Or if you have things you noticed on tape that you want to shout them out early, leave them in the comments below, guys. Like, comment, subscribe. Thank you for joining. As always, I'm your host, Picks with Pegasus, and we will see you guys on Tuesday. Peace.